Hi, everyone. As we are approaching quickly the beginning of our appointments for self-scheduling, I thought one of the options that might help us kind of get through this hurdle of new Kronos and starting the self-schedule process and maybe making it a little smoother for everyone is if I did a quick tutorial video real quick. I know Talisa and I put out this kind of step-by-step process to walk you through each of the things that I'm going to show you today. And I think if you'll have that next to you, it'll probably make a lot of sense, especially if you've watched this even just once. But I thought what we'd do real quick is kind of just go through each of these steps so you know what to expect when it's your turn to select. So let's go ahead and get started. A couple things about your web browser. The folks at Kronos say that Google Chrome or Firefox are probably the two better ones to use. You can use Internet Explorer, you can use Safari. I did help somebody the other day. They were using Chrome and they hadn't updated their Java. And so you may, depending on how recently you've done some of your updates and stuff on your laptop, your computer, whatever, you may have to do a couple things to use whichever browser you choose or just choose a different browser. So let's go ahead and pick up Google Chrome. The website we're going to go to is utah.kronos.net. It's going to take you to the login. Now, I've already logged in once, so most of you are going to log in and see the University of Utah login. You're going to have to put your U number in, your password in, and then it's going to take you to either your RSA or your Duo authentication. Go through all that process to get yourself logged in. Once you're logged in, you're going to come to your main screen. Those of us that are administrators or maybe somebody that's had schedule responsibilities in the past, you may pull up with the main screen that you see when you log in every time as your scheduler screen like this. Most everybody else sees what's called the My Information screen, which you can get to from this Workspaces. Most of you know what this kind of tab looks like. It's where your time card is over here. It's where you're punching in and out every day. This is the screen you want to start from. We're going to start from this little area over here called My Calendar. So go ahead and click My Calendar. When that pulls up, as this is pulling up, one of the things that you'll probably get in the habit of wanting to do is use this, because if you haven't already kind of tinkered with it a little bit, you can see that I have a shift on, or had a shift on Monday the 7th. All your shifts are highlighted over here, and it tells you what they are and where they are and all those kind of things, so it's pretty handy. And it's from here that we're going to do the self-schedule. So first thing we've got to do is change the schedule period. So up under here, instead of the current schedule period, we're going to go over here to this calendar looking icon. It says select dates. We're going to select that. And then we're going to change the dates using these two calendar things here. Now, for some reason, my screen capture program that I'm using right now won't let me change the dates. So I have to pause this real quick to put them in, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so you can see right here, I've entered in the dates. We're going to start on September 16th. And even though the payroll ends on January 5th, I need you to select the 6th. That way you'll see the entirety of the 24-hour shifts that go through into that next day. So once you get the dates in there, press OK. Now that's going to change. You'll notice that this changed the dates right here. And if you push these arrows, you can go through arrow week by week by week. And it would show you what you were working, or in this case, it shows the open shifts. What we want to do now is come over here as soon as this updates. And this, by the way, might be a little slow on your computer, because what it's doing is it's going through each of those dates and finding out either the open shifts or what's been scheduled already. So the next thing we're going to do is hit this request self-schedule after you put the dates in. Once you hit request self-schedule, you're going to get a new screen slide in from right to left. And there's a couple things on it that we need to change for you to see what the open shifts are. So again, it might be a touch slow. Now what you can see is it's pulled up the dates, and it doesn't show you what you're scheduled yet because you haven't picked anything. A couple things we need to change though. First thing we need to change is this time label. We want to change it to label so we can see the name of the shifts rather than just the start and end times of the shifts. Rather than seeing the location, we want to see what the job is. So we're going to change that to job. And then over here, instead of seeing everybody's available shifts, we only want to see the flight paramedic available shifts. So hit that. And now what's happened is if you'll scroll over here, you can scroll down, and what you can see down here is this little thing that says transfer across the bottom here. And what those are all of the shifts. And if you collect that transfer across there. Now you can see that we have all of these shifts available on each of these days. You'll notice as I hover over these, the day kind of changes color from that more obscure look over here to the day that you're picking. Now, one thing that'll help you that I figured out yesterday after I made that original tutorial is this down here is kind of a nuisance. If you click right here, right in the middle, right above where it says segmented shift, there's kind of two horizontal lines and a downward line. If you click that right there, that goes away, and now you can see all of what's available right there. So now all you're going to do, once you've gone through and kind of prepared what days you're hoping to pick up shifts on, I know those of you that are towards the bottom might have a little bit of a problem getting days, but what you would do now is come across to that particular day, highlight it, and then say for this particular day on Monday the 18th, you wanted to work a Davis day. You would highlight that, and now you'll notice as soon as you've highlighted something, it immediately allows you to submit. Now, a couple things that you need to know right now. Because we break up the Davis base, the Park City base, the Tooele and Nephi bases, we have to put those in as 12-hour shifts. Even though theoretically you could pick Davis day and then scroll down and find the Davis night and click it also to get your 24-hour shift in, it will only let you select one shift per day at a time. So if I scroll back up here, you'll see that it got rid of my Davis day. So if you're planning on doing a 24 at the bases that we sometimes split, you're going to have to go in, select the first part of that shift, hit submit, then come back and do the night part of that shift and hit submit again. I know it's cumbersome and I apologize. One of the other things that you're going to notice is that if you hit that and hit submit, it will sign you up for that shift, but then it's going to take you back to this. It's a quirk that's just a problem. Everywhere else in the hospital, most people use this for open shifts. So they'll go in and sign themselves up for pre-approved open shifts, not for scheduling weeks at a time. So you're going to have to go back in, hit request self-schedule again. I apologize, but you're going to have to change all these again across the top to label, to location, to flight paramedic again. You'll get in the habit of it. It won't take you long. And now you could come theoretically back. It already shows that I'm scheduled down here for the 8A shift. Now I'm going to hit transfer again, and I would come and pick the night part of that Davis shift, hit submit, and now I am technically signed up for a 24-hour shift at Davis. I'm going to go back in, hit request self-schedule. I'm going to change all these things that we've changed again. And pick my next day. So I'm just going to pick one on the 19th. Say on the 19th I'm in my long week and I wanted to do a Tooele night shift, for example. So I'd pick Tooele night. And then I would either do one of two things, hit submit, or if you're only picking one shift a day, so theoretically say I wanted to pick up a shift the next day also. So like I was saying, I've already picked one day right here, and I haven't yet submitted it up over here on the top right. If you're only picking one shift a day, so say you had a couple 12s, or you were doing a Rock Springs fixed or rotoring, which are 24-hour shifts. If you're only picking one shift a day, you can go through and pick those shifts, hit submit, and it will populate all of those. The problem is every time you hit submit, it takes you back out to the screen where you've got to go back in, hit self-schedule, and do all that over again. So anyway, you'll go through day by day, week by week, and you'll go through until you get your schedule picked. You'll notice that it's got the Saturday to Friday up here where our payroll is. Once you've picked whatever your shifts are for this week, you're going to come over here, pick the next week, go across the bottom, highlight all those so that it shows which shifts you want. Now, you don't have to highlight all those if you already know what day you're going to pick. You could theoretically just leave them down and pick the one day. If you want to say, for example, pick a shift on the 26th, you could just hit transfer and show the ones for that day. So then you're going to go through week by week, pick your shifts. Again, so in this case, say I only wanted to do a shift. I only had one 24-hour shift I needed to pick up on the 10th. I'd only theoretically need to pick up that one, highlight whichever shift it was that I wanted to work, and then come over here and submit. So that's kind of the process. We've run into a problem or two with some of the administrators. I'm going to have to fill in their shifts for them. They've told us that that's going to get fixed by the next time that we do self-schedule. But I think once you do a day or two, you'll start to figure it out, and you probably won't have many problems, at all. If you do run into problems, couple things. There's nothing that you do that we can't then fix afterward. So as you're going through, if you do it and you and I aren't talking on the phone as you're doing it, which I'm hoping to do with as much of you as I can, and you elect to kind of hammer out, you print off that or have that kind of step-by-step guide that I gave you and you've watched this. If you make a mistake, it's fine. Just call me, let me know exactly what day and what shift it is. I can delete those off, and then we can get you scheduled for what you need to. So don't worry about all this. It's going to be fine. Talisa's got probably 80% of the nurses done, and with very few hiccups, usually with people that aren't very computer savvy. It's gone pretty well. So hopefully this video will help. Feel free to watch it a couple times just to kind of go through the mouse clicks, and I think you'll figure out that you've got it. Probably one last thing, once you've gone all the way through January and you've gotten all your shifts in, and you've hit submit for the last time, you don't need to close out of it or anything. You can just cancel out right up here, the tab, or even just sign out, and your shifts will be in there. If you could do me a favor, when you've finished, please either call me or text me. Again, I'm going to try on your day that you've been given your appointment to give you a little advance notice, remind you that your appointment's coming up, but also to try to maybe jump on the phone when you're ready. Again, if you like to do that on your own, you're fine too. But would you call me or text me and let me know that you're done so I can do the same for the next person that's on after you. So if you have any questions, you're always welcome to call me, text me. I'm actually going to be really available next week. I've budgeted out most of my time, so I think we're going to be fine. So good luck with this. Again, if you got any questions, give me a call, and take care. Have a good weekend.